And people still to this day always tell me not to feel that way, like just to ease off. But I feel like that's just what gets me going. I never want to like go back to cleaning women's restrooms in my life. So I just kind of think about that stuff.
Welcome back to another episode of The Burn. I am smiling big right now because I know this guy right here, he's always behind the camera.
Yes, I am.
But I am absolutely fired up to have him in front of the camera today. And one of the things I love about you is you are so darn humble. And wait till you guys hear this story. It's absolutely amazing. This is Sam Limon. He is one of the top videographers in the world, works with Drew Hanlon and the Pure Sweat family, one of the top NBA skills training teams in the United States, working with some of the top players in the world that you guys are watching, cheering for every single year. And as I mentioned, Sam's always behind the camera. But in some of my visits out to LA and spending time with Drew and getting to know Sam, I've learned a little bit about his story. And you talk about the burn. I can't wait to hear how he answers these questions. I wrote a Forbes article last year about Sam and his story because it inspired me at such a deep level. So Sam was a college soccer player. After college, I'm going to let him fill in some of these gaps.
A lot of gaps.
There's a lot of gaps. But so, college soccer player. After playing college soccer, he ended up becoming a janitor. Now think about this. Many people watching right now, we think that where we are right now are the final chapters of our story. And I want Sam's story to serve as inspiration for you, that where you are right now is exactly where you are supposed to be. Give everything that you've got and all that you do because it's part of your story and the person that you are becoming. So he is a janitor that now, I told you the bio. So having the opportunity to work with some of the most talented individuals in the world, you guys better go follow him on social media because the videos he puts together are incredible. And I am so excited to introduce you to my friend Sam. So Sam, I know you don't like being in front of the camera, but here we are. There's nothing you can do about it now. So help us better understand some of your mindset, that burn, and how you are where you are right now.
For sure. Well, thank you for having me on. We've become pretty close the last couple of years or so, and I've always kind of, appreciate you kind of wanting to know my story. And like I said, and like you said, I'm always behind the camera, right? But just to kind of give you like a rundown, my story could take like 2 hours talking about it, honestly. But I was a very motivated person growing up. I always had the drive. I think I always tell this little short story, but when I was 10, I would lay flat on my back at night and I would think about like, how am I going to become successful? I lived in a very small apartment with my mom and I was just kind of thinking about trying to better my life and better her life. And I was always so stressed at a young age, like, what am I going to do to become successful? And it was one of those questions that just kind of like grinded into my heart, so to speak, laying there at night and thinking about that type of stress when I was 10. It was very unusual, and I just became so driven, and thankfully, like, I was really, passionate about soccer, really good at soccer, and that kind of kept my drive kind of level-headed what I wanted to be when I grew up. It's funny that me and Jason Tatum, who's one of our clients, we kind of have the same kind of childhood story. In a classroom, they would go around the classmates and then they would ask, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he would say like a doctor or like a nurse or typical lawyer, kind of typical answers you hear from kids, right? So it came to me, I would say, I want to be a professional soccer player. So I had everybody around me laugh at me, and I just remember being so stone cold. I was just so in disbelief. I took it so personal, and then from that day, I just kind of made it my mission to like, okay, I'm going to become a Division I soccer player. So that kind of painted my life for the next high school and middle school years. I just wanted to become a Division I soccer player. Became a Division I soccer player, proved everybody wrong. Got to Division I. I actually had a walk-on, and I made it as a walk-on, and I'm going to try to siphon through this real quickly.
Yeah.
But made it as a walk-on. I got hurt, got a sports hernia, And this was a month into like tryouts, and I knew I was good enough to play. I was beating people on the first team, and I was only like a sophomore, freshman, and I just knew I was really good. And I was beating these kids, and 3 weeks into, the coach just gave me like a walk-on opportunity to try to make it. 3 weeks into, I get a sports hernia, and the coach, he's on my side. He was trying to, give me a break and say, hey, I'm gonna keep you on the team, but make sure you rest up, come back healthy, you're good. To my stubbornness, I came back a little bit too early, and I re-aggravated my injury again, and I got hurt again. So then we're kind of messing around with scholarship money, other people needing money, other people needing these like positions, like setting up positions, going to school. The coach is like, okay, like, I can't keep you on, like we're gonna have to give your spot away. So right then and there, I'm in the middle of my, I believe, junior year. I kind of skipped a lot of steps, but I played Division II soccer for 2 years before that, and then became like a walk on my junior year. Right? I'm trying to breeze through this real quick. But there I was, I lost soccer, got hurt, and then now this coach is telling me like he can't save me my spot. And on top of that, I'm living off campus, I have 2 other roommates, I'm paying rent per month, blah, blah, blah. I have all these continual stresses, you know what I'm saying? So I'm facing that. I lost soccer, I'm hurt. The next day I get walking pneumonia, and I'm like sick as a dog. I go into the medical center, I don't even know what you call it on campus, but I fill out my mom's and my dad's information, and I accidentally fill out my dad's information, which is a financial information. And I don't know if you know about private schools, but they're very, very strict about financial irregularities and stuff like that. So 3 days later after that, they summoned me into their office, and they kicked me out of school because my dad made significant more money than my mom did, and I was supposed to go off that financial aid. I mean, what kid didn't want to try to beat the financial aid system at that point, My dad never really helped me during that time financially, and it was just me and my mom kind of breaking through. And safe to say, my dad has always helped. Me and my dad have a great relationship now, but it was pretty much rocky at that point in my life at that point. And then, that happened, got kicked out, so there I am off campus, no purpose. And I think that's the worst thing to do, is have no purpose in life. So I'm off campus for the next 7 months there, no soccer and no school. So from that point, it was already worse. So at the end of the year, they granted me a trial to kind of get back into school, and I presented my case. I said, hey, look, I don't make this type of money. I'm not getting any help. This is my mom's income. And they grant me back to school, but I can't have any more financial aid going into my senior year. So from that point, my dad came in, luckily said, hey, like, I know I didn't help out as much, but you can stay with me. I'll get you back on your feet. Go back to Santa Barbara. Every summer when I went home, my dad would always hook me up with this job, working as a Santa Barbara maintenance worker. And I got demoted that year. They didn't have that position. I became a janitor. So for the next 2 years, I became a janitor, and I went through a long strand of stuff. In that period, from 10 months, I lost soccer, got kicked out of school, moved back home where everybody thought I was a successful soccer player. And I started running into like ex-girlfriends, running into old best friends who saw me in a janitor suit, cleaning women's toilets for a living for about 1.5 to 2 years. I mean, right there, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of steps, became very depressed. Sad to say, I got in trouble with the law, unfortunately, but, got in trouble with some drinking situations I'm not too proud of, but, I was able to overcome that, overcame some family business, but there's a lot of things that happened in 11-month strand that just really kind of took its toll. But, obviously there's, with every, bad experiences, there always comes good experiences. So it took me being broken up with this girl that I knew since 7th grade. She basically, to kind of speed it up, is she basically didn't want to be with me because of what I was doing in my life, which was a janitor. And it hit full circle, and from that point, I just wanted to make a change. I quit my janitor job the next day, went around Santa Barbara, hustled.
So let me get in your head here for a second.
You're fine.
So
you're fine.
You hear all of this adversity and challenge.
Yeah.
So that moment right there.
Yeah.
what was the thought? Because that's where, like, to me, the burn comes in.
For sure,
so where
yeah.
you say, enough is enough. Like,
Yeah.
like this right here, I got to make a change. So
Yeah.
what is that burn for you? And then tell us the shift in the next chapter.
Yeah, I think for me always it's been rejection. I think rejection has always fueled me, and people still to this day always tell me not to feel that way, like just to ease off. But I feel like that's just what gets me going. Like that's what makes me motivated so much. Like when I feel slighted or I feel rejected, it just pushes me to another level. And I still feel it. I know Drew and a lot of my close friends said, like, just relax, like take a chill pill, just enjoy life. I've never been like that. I just want to feel that, and it just makes me work harder. It makes me feel like he's on my edge. I never want to like go back to cleaning women's restrooms in my life. So I just kind of think about that stuff. I don't know if you kind of resonate with that, or I don't know if you told people just kind of chill, but for me it's always been the opposite.
No, I think, I mean, for me, it's not the rejection, it's the pain, right?
Yeah, the
but
pain.
every day, people are like, you
Yeah.
really think about your mom every day? And I'm like, yeah, the pain of my mom,
Yeah.
watching her come to the dinner table with an IV, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because what can you bring to me that's worse than what I've seen with these two eyes?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a similar, different story, but similar for you. Like, what can you
Sure.
bring that's worse than what I've been through? It just causes you to want to just fight.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's just, and like I was saying, it just took that moment of somebody that I really cared about, that I really thought that was going to work out. It didn't, and she basically told me that she didn't feel like I knew where I was going in my life, and that just really stung. And I just wanted to just do everything I could to prove her wrong. Luckily, I did do that, and I killed myself for doing that, but it was a lot of hard work. And fortunately, I was able to meet Drew Hanlon of about 6 years ago now at P3 Peak Performance Facility, and I was able to get my in there, and that's where I kind of met the whole NBA world. And Drew.
And you weren't charging for videos when you were there, correct?
No, I worked, so I became a janitor. I was janitor for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then when that whole moment situation happened with that one girl, I got like I created my own internship at P3 basically. If you went
That's what I'm saying. You believed enough in yourself.
For sure, yeah.
And what your passions and your talents were to where
Yeah.
you said, I'm doing this.
100%, yep. And it was a creative, like I created my own internship. I mean, if you go back there, though, they know what the type of hustle I did just to be around there, be around the guys, be around Drew, and I worked for free. I mean, Drew will tell you stories all the time that I worked till like 4 in the morning at his hotel room, and I sent him products at 5 in the morning, and I just knew I wanted to work for that guy, and I invested everything, my whole life into him. And there's a cool story, he'll vouch for me on this, but I looked at him one day and I said, yo, I just want to make you famous. Let me work for you, I'm going to make you famous, I guarantee it. And luckily, like, he's become the best skills coach. I'm biased as hell, obviously, but to me, he's the best skills coach in the world, country.
So let me share something.
Yeah.
Because this is a really, really cool tie.
Yeah.
So the unseen hours,
Yes, sir.
right? Many people think that, oh, one person goes and does something. Drew by himself. And Drew, if he were sitting right here,
Yeah.
right? So he's in Africa with Embiid,
Yep,
right?
yep.
So we're going to get him the next time I'm here. But when you think about this, Drew knows it takes a great team to accomplish something. So the unseen hours maybe was his idea, but the show that you guys have created, and if you guys haven't seen it, you got to check out the unseen hours. I mean, it's a YouTube sensation. I mean, when he walks into an airport, people are going up to Drew saying,
Yeah.
you're that unseen hours guy.
Yeah.
So you did that.
Yeah.
See, so even through the pain, the doubt, working for free, you had this big vision, part of a team, and here we sit here today, and you guys are all famous. And what I think is so beautiful about it is the fame doesn't mean anything to you guys.
Yeah.
It's the relationships.
100%.
So finish this. So let's tie it up here, right? Because people can see it's not where you are, it's where you believe you can get to. But that's probably what I admire the most about you and Drew and how you go about things. Like your relationship with
Yeah.
these players, it has nothing to do with wins and losses.
No, he will be the first to say it, that the most important thing that what separates him is relationships with his players. You know, we actually really care about people that come into this gym, people that surround the gym, making sure that the interns are not super invasive into the pros workouts, making sure there's only one voice. We really care about the culture that we have here at Pure Sweat, and it is like a family, man. Like, it's just this is my 5th, maybe 6th year here, being with Drew, being around him. I mean, hell, I even moved to St. Louis with him for 2 years, and then came back full circle, moved to California. but just the relationships, the aspects that we've kind of formulated with the players is beyond none. I could never leave that because there's so many relationships I couldn't leave behind.
I appreciate your story, your example, and your fight.
Yep.
And here's what I would tell you. I can't wait to see the next chapters, because what you shared about your motivation, that burn is not going out anytime soon.
It's not.
I know you're going to keep thinking bigger,
Yeah.
and I know there's a lot more creativity that's up there. And I just appreciate your fight, and I appreciate you coming in front of the camera, because I told you last year when I wanted to write that Forbes story, you're like, no, you're not going to write. I said, no, I'm writing the story.
100%.
And I also told you when I was coming out to LA, I'm getting you in front of this camera. So thank you for doing this. I know it's not your favorite thing, and I appreciate you,
man.
brother.
Thank
Always
you.
in your corner.
Appreciate it.